This video will give you a few tips in viewing specimens in Biolucida. These are virtual slide specimens. And what you're viewing here is, I am connected to Histology Lab as Histology Lab specimens. This is this is this is one of the two clouds that you were instructed to set up after you installed Biolucida Viewer. So you see you have four lab collections. And the first lab only has two collections. Module 2 lab has many more many more specimens in the collection for that lab, and Module 3, etc., etc. So to study these specimens, you can just simply click on one of them like this, and you see this is labeled skin thick palm, and we put some annotations in here. To see the text related to any annotations, you have to click on this little icon up here with the lines in a paper and a hand holding a pencil. So if you click that, you see down here you get the specimens, and you can move this up like this. And in order to see you can turn the specimens off like this and study without, and you can zoom in and out. If you use the drop-down menu, you can go to 10x, for example, just like that. And we're looking at some connective tissue and some dense connective tissue and some adipose tissue. Or you can go back to the lowest magnification, which is this, or even lower, like so. In order to magnify quickly a particular area you would like to look at, you can just click on the specimen and then press your Z key down, and you'll see it changes into a plus, which is a marquee, and you can draw the area you want to magnify very quickly, and you go immediately there. You can also use your mouse wheel, and that's what I'm using right now. I'm just jumping up and down in magnification. If you want to go back to the annotations and see them, well, you see if they're X'd out here. You have to, you can unclick them there, or you could have unclicked them up here, okay, like that. And also, if you go way away from the magnification where the annotations are, you just click on the annotation text over here and click Go To. And that will take you back to the original magnification where we set the annotations up. It is best always to view the specimen with the magnifying glass clicked on. That's the reference specimen. So you see, if I go up at higher magnification, this tells you exactly where I'm located and magnifying this specimen. Okay, so those are just a few tips. I think I would stay away from this. This gives you another floating window, which I think is just more confusing. So I wouldn't click on that. I would just stick to the default view. There is also Bookmark you can click on and off. If you click it on, then there's a floating window, and it really has the same annotations that if you clicked on them, this would take you to another specimen. Now watch what happens when I do this. So you see it's going to the other specimen in Lab 1, Module Lab 1, and that's a skeletal muscle. If I go back, if I stop or delete these specimens from viewing, I can click the X here, or click the X here, or I can just close them all at once like this. And when I do that, you see there are the two specimens in Module 1 lab, and the bookmarks here have those. And again, if I click this, it'll take me right to that skeletal muscle specimen. And the same thing with the rest of the labs. There are more annotations with these. But in order to, I think one of the clearest ways to study in these supplemental specimens to WebMike study that you do, which is really the workhorse for the lab of the course. But these are supplemental, and remember, we use these as, and others you will not have seen, virtual slides as unknowns in the quizzes and exams. But I think that it's probably easier if you want to study a specimen to say, okay, I want to study Highland cartilage. So you just click on that. And I'll just click on this other one real quickly. And you see the annotation text did not show up automatically. So you have to click that, and there it is. And again, if sometimes we don't set the annotations to show at all magnifications, or if you get lost, just remember, go back here and click on this. If for some reason the specimen is not showing very well, you can always refresh it like that. Also, one other thing, look here in the lower left corner where we have a zoom 7%, and the scale bar is equal to 300 microns. That means from here to here, this bar is equal to 300 microns. You can move your specimen down here and measure something. You can see you can't turn the specimen around, so you just kind of have to estimate. But it gives you a fairly good idea of the perspective that you are viewing. And one of the things you're learning in the course is our units of measurement and relationship of sizes in magnification. So here we have 300 microns, and that's equal to 3/10 of a millimeter, okay? Or 3/100 of a centimeter. All right, I'm going to close this now and trust that you understand. You can also get some information about this specimen here. So you have all these features in the lab cloud, but when you're in the quiz or exam taking cloud, which I will go there now because I have that set up also. And so if I go to quizzes and exams, as you're instructed in the video for taking part B of the quizzes and midterm and part C of the final exam, you log into Blackboard within Biolucida here. You see here, this is Biolucida. That's the viewer that I'm running, and I'd have to put my username or your username and password and log in. You navigate to the quiz, and then when you get there, and I'll jump back to the lab specimen view now, which is right here. And if we did have a question about this skin slide, and we wanted you to, for example, I'll just use the marquee like I told you, and click on the specimen and press Z, and then I'm going to go here. One of the first questions you may have in the first module quiz is to identify the epithelium here, and we might put a dotted line and say all the tissue from the dotted line where my cursor is out. And this is stratified squamous keratinizing epithelium, and has many layers of cells and so forth. So the question in Blackboard and in here may be to identify this tissue, and you would identify. Okay, I think that's enough. This is sufficient to orient you to using Biolucida, I trust. Good luck.